Trump Organization and telling it to warn others not to rely on nearly a decade's worth of those financial statements. This comes, as you know, in the middle of an ongoing civil and criminal probe into whether the former president illegally inflated the value of his assets to obtain loans, or, as his former attorney Michael Cohen once said, merely to boost his status.
It was my experience that Mr. Trump inflated his total assets when it served his purposes, such as trying to be listed amongst the wealthiest people in Forbes, and deflated his assets to reduce his real estate taxes.
So 3 years later, here we are. CNN's Kara Scannell joins us now with the very latest. So, Kara, what did Mazars say in this letter to the Trump Organization?
Well, John, they said that telling the Trump Organization that they should no longer rely on nearly 10 years of financial statements. These were the financial statements that Mazars had compiled for the Trump Organization. And they said that this is based on a couple of things. One is the New York Attorney General's investigation. They made a very public filing last month that went into great detail about various misstatements, allegations of misstatements and omissions in these financial statements, everything from the size of Donald Trump's triplex apartment at Trump Tower to how much cash they had on hand to how they were valuing golf courses. So a significant move. And but in this, though, interestingly, they are not drawing any sharp conclusions about whether there was any fraud here. They say, while we have not concluded that the various financial statements as a whole contain material discrepancies based upon the totality of the circumstances, we believe our advice to you to no longer rely upon those financial statements is appropriate. And they're telling them that they should tell lenders, insurers, anyone else who's relied on this about this. And as you mentioned, they also quit. They said that they would no longer do any work because of an unwaverable conflict of interest.
They say we're out. So how does this affect the Attorney General's investigation?
Well, it's never good when your accountant says that you can't rely on the financial statements. And it certainly re-emphasizes this point that we have known, that the accounting firm is cooperating with the investigation, both the New York Attorney General and the Manhattan District Attorney, which has that criminal investigation. Donald Bender, the lead partner who has been the liaison with Donald Trump and the Trump Organization for years, he has been cooperating. He went before the grand jury, we reported last year. So it's not a good sign. This also indicates just, again, that there is this break. Mazars had said in the financial statements that Trump came up with the numbers and that they had compiled it and that it didn't comply with GAAP. But here they're also saying, now we're unsure about this at all.
What is the Trump Organization saying about all this?
Well, they're trying to play it to their advantage. I mean, they said that they're disappointed that Mazars is no longer going to represent them, but they're trying to imply that this is an indication, because Mazars did not outright find some fraud, that this is then a seal of approval, and they're saying that the investigations are moot. They've also have alleged that Tish James, the New York Attorney General, and the DA are politically motivated.
All right, Kara Scannell, thank you so much for that reporting. Really appreciate it.